Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Pattison Podcast with me, Mike Missinelli, and Anthony Sanfilippo, brought to us by the good folks at the law firm of Wapner Newman. We're doing this podcast on Thursday, January 29th, and the Eagles still don't have an offensive coordinator. Anthony, I don't know if you should worry about it. They want to make their right choice. They want to vet every candidate that they have out there. But meanwhile, a lot of candidates are going elsewhere, and a lot of good candidates are going elsewhere. The Eagles were interested in a few of them, and the one that flipped me out the most, Brian Daboll going to be the offensive coordinator with the Titans instead of the Philadelphia Eagles. Very surprising, and I don't know how to feel at this point. I don't know whether to go on the Eagles side and say, well, due diligence is the proper way to go, or to say, boy, they're in trouble because nobody wants the job. How do you feel?
Yeah, I've talked to you about this before. Like, the Eagles mess with your sports brain, right? Like everything that you think about sports, they do it in a way, and you sit there and go, well, it shouldn't be that way, but it's successful. So maybe they're right, and maybe it's and you get confused. I don't know, Mike. We talked about this last week, and we put a clip out from the show, and people killed us on social media about our takes about the Eagles situation with offensive coordinator. And I don't know. Here we are a week later, and more candidates are coming off the board, and I have to ask: were we wrong? Like, is there a problem here, or do the Eagles truly believe in their heart of hearts that their way is the right way, and that they've gone out and done this before, and they've brought in somebody that you've never heard of and developed them into a really good coach, and they've been successful with it? And that's what we have to decide.
I'm trying to stay neutral on this, right? I look at Daboll and I go, he probably would have been the best hire. But a guy like Daboll does not want to come to a situation where it's Super Bowl or else. He wants to have some leeway. So he goes down there, does a good enough job with Cam Ward, the quarterback of the Titans, and he gets another look at a head coaching job rather than – although if he did the same thing here, would he have gotten a look to be a head coach again? That's the dilemma. I don't know why these candidates don't seem to be interested in the Eagles, but they are coming off the board. Now, did we want Mike Kafka? He went to the Lions. I don't know. Bobby Slowick went to the Dolphins. I don't know. These names are recycled names out there. Todd Monken, I was interested in. He took the head coaching job with the Browns. Now, the latest name to emerge, getting a second interview, is quarterbacks coach for the Green Bay Packers under Matt LaFleur. His name is Sean Mannion, who served as a backup in the league for a lot of years, just like Kellen Moore did. Are we interested in Sean Mannion? Do we know from Sean Mannion? He's 33 years old. Do we take a chance on a young offensive coordinator like we did with maybe Steichen?
Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't tell you anything about Sean Mannion. There's nothing about Sean Mannion that excites me, but there's nothing about Sean Mannion that I go, oh no, I don't want that guy.
Well, who excites us?
Well,
these are all names out there, right? You can go down the list of names. The Eagles did interview Dolphins coordinator Frank Smith, who worked under Mike McDaniel. It's clear that they would like to go to a guy who has been tutored by some innovative guys, right? At least we can give them that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, with them talking to these people, but I would rather they got the innovative guy. And I understand some of these guys are going to take head coaching jobs, and that, if you want a head coaching job instead of being the offensive coordinator, fine by me. I have zero problem with it. But I wonder about guys just going and taking gigs that are offensive coordinator jobs elsewhere, or staying in college and not wanting to come to the NFL to coach for what is an elite franchise in this league. Like, I wonder why it just seems so difficult to get this job filled. It shouldn't be this difficult when you have what you have.
Maybe they're making it difficult. Maybe they're making it difficult on purpose. Maybe because this is their way. They vet to a fault where they bring in guys and they want to make sure they're making the right hire. They're very prudent when it comes to that. So I guess we can't have a problem with that, can we?
I don't have a problem with due diligence, Mike, but I do think if you had to know, let's put it this way, you had to know pretty early on in the offseason, if not even before the season ended, that you were moving on from Kevin Patullo. So you had to have an idea of a short list of guys that you wanted to talk to from before the season was over, from before losing to the 49ers. That Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie had to have that list. And so the fact that you're now 3 weeks beyond or 3.5 weeks beyond the end of your season, and you still don't have that person, and all of these names are coming off the board, it does make me question it a little bit. It's one thing to do due diligence. It's another thing to sit there and let everybody else go. I would rather one of the more established guys. Personally would rather have had one of the more established guys. It doesn't mean I think that somebody else.
Well, let's put it this way. Suppose they didn't have that list. Suppose the Kevin Patullo thing wasn't really anticipated until the fans started going, this guy needs to go. And until they lost that game. Well, maybe they didn't have the list. Maybe they were kind of content with Kevin Patullo because Sirianni was content with him.
Well, then maybe that's on them, Mike. Maybe that's on them. Like, because we identified there was an offensive problem. And I don't mean we, me and you. I mean we, the people of Philadelphia, identified that there was an offensive problem with the Eagles and that something had to change. What that something was, whether it was Kevin Patullo, whether it was the head coach, whether it's a quarterback, whatever you want to identify as the problem, something needed to change. The easiest path was replacing the offensive coordinator. It's the easiest path. Yeah. So the Eagles had to recognize that at some point they had to sit there and say, what's the easiest thing for us to do if this goes off the rails? Yeah. And they had to know.
We're looking at the offensive coordinator, but he also has to be fit with the quarterback. And maybe like in all these interviews, they're not finding a fit with the quarterback. Like they want to do certain things that Jalen Hurts can't do. And the brass goes, well, he can't do that, so we can't have this guy. Well, could it be that?
Well, yes, it certainly can be that. And if it's that, then I think you have a different problem. Right?
Well, you have a major problem if that's the case.
Well, I'm saying it's possible. I'm not saying that is the problem, but if that is the problem, then that's a whole other conversation. And that's not going to be fixed by bringing in a Sean Mannion or a Jim Bob Cooter, who apparently interviewed a second time. Like those guys aren't going to fix that.
I get you. Let's look at Frank Smith for a little bit. Let's look at his resume since we don't know who he is. He worked under Mike McDaniel. He was McDaniel was the play caller, but Smith oversaw the Dolphins' offense for the last 3 years. The Dolphins were 5th in total offense in 2022, and then 1st before taking big steps backwards. Before the Dolphins, Smith was the running game coordinator and offensive line coach under Sean McVay. Here we go.
Yeah,
we got that pedigree for the Rams in 2021. Before that, assistant roles under Sean Payton in New Orleans, John Fox in Chicago, John Gruden in Oakland. Pretty decent resume, right?
Yes, it is.
The Eagles are also set to interview Houston Texans quarterback coach Gerard Johnson. They interviewed him for the same role before it hired Kellen Moore. So Johnson is in the picture. Existing candidates, Jim Bob Cooter, Josh Grizzard, and Matt Nagy. How do you feel about Nagy?
No, I don't like Matt Nagy.
You don't want Matt Nagy?
No, I don't like Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy has never impressed me. I thought that Chiefs offense got worse under him than it was under Eric Bieniemy.
Got old though.
It did, but I mean, it wasn't nearly as effective.
All right, I just mentioned the name John Gruden. He just got offered the OC job by the Jets. Any interest in John Gruden here as the offensive coordinator?
I think John Gruden likes what he's doing. I don't think that he would.
What's he doing? I don't even know what he's doing.
He's working for Barstool, doing all kinds of fun stuff with them. He's doing some interviews. He did a whole thing with Vinny Testaverde recently. Like it's typical stuff. It's typical Gruden stuff. I think he enjoys that. I don't necessarily know. Maybe that fire is burning out for him. No, I don't necessarily have a desire to bring Johon Gruden in.
Okay, no John Gruden for you.
Yeah.
All right. Ford, who is one of our big chat board guys, says, put it another way, people talk all the time about Jalen having someone different every year. Not ideal, sure, but part of the business. To me, it's the play of this play call. It's the play caller being able to do dynamic stuff. So, there it is. Has he been able to do dynamic stuff lately?
No, that's really it. I mean, and look, when you sit there and say that, it's not like a damning indictment of him. It's just say that that's what he is, and we have to accept that. And if the offensive coordinator is not going to come in and work well with Jalen Hurts and make it fit for Jalen Hurts, then what does it matter who the offensive coordinator is, right? Like ultimately,
I get it. I get it. Let's look at the overall picture here on the
yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles and how they can get back to the Super Bowl. Now, they need to make some upgrades on offense. There's no question about it. But how can they get back to the Super Bowl? What is the blueprint for them to get back to the Super Bowl? Let's start with the offensive coordinator who has to be able to do some things different with the quarterback.
yeah,
We agree on that?
1,000%. Yes.
Okay. Maybe they need another running back. They need a change of pace running back. I know Bigsby was good, but Bigsby is kind of the same as Saquon, straight ahead.
Yeah, so you're saying in support of Saquon, you need a different running back,
like a Darren Sproles type of talent.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Sure.
All right, Lane Johnson needs to come back 100% committed and 100% healthy.
That's a big ask, but yes, I mean the offensive line in general, Mike, needs to be more healthy and better than it was in 2025.
All right, let's look at the tight end situation.
Yeah,
what happens there? They have to get a tight end that's as good as Goddard, maybe a little, not as well known as Goddard, but a guy that has to be able to do what Goddard has done. If they don't re-sign Goddard, would you re-sign Goddard? Is that part of the move that you would get back to the Super Bowl with?
I would prefer to re-sign Goddard because I'm not sure that there's another avenue that's better. But I would also invest a good draft pick in a tight end that you can develop and play on the other side of him.
They could have last year. They could have had Harold Fannin.
Yeah, and they did
right there for him to take. Yeah. They didn't take him.
Right. I would go in that direction at this upcoming draft.
All right. They definitely need a number 3 receiver.
That they 100%.
It goes without saying that A.J. Brown has to come back, right? A.J. Brown has to come back, and they need a number 3 receiver.
Mike, do you realize how much you're asking for here?
I'm asking for a lot.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a lot, but we're trying to get back to the Super Bowl here.
Yes.
And the offense showed you it was not good enough to get back to the Super Bowl. So that's why I'm asking for a lot. Now, on defense, when it was scattershot, they made the necessary improvements on defense to actually have a Super Bowl type of defense.
Correct. And I think that if you take that approach, you can start to get those players again. But if you do, I think the difference is on offense. It's so much more intricate that you can't just plug and play and hope that they're going to get you back to the Super Bowl. It might be one of those things where we're going to draft these players or we're going to add these players in free agency or some combination of the two, but it's going to take at least a year for them to gel, maybe 2. You might be sitting there saying, all right, I'm understanding we might not get there in 26, but we're doing this with the goal of getting back there in 27 or 28.
All right, let's look at some other football matters here, and we'll get back to the Eagles if we feel the need. The Super Bowl is set up. It's Seahawks versus the Patriots. Now, it doesn't look that exciting on paper, but they're 2 pretty good teams. They're clearly the 2 best teams out of each conference. Why isn't this game exciting enough? And the Seahawks are a 5-point favorite as we sit here.
Yeah, I think that and why the Seattle's favored is New England didn't beat anybody this year. They really didn't. I mean, and if you look at their path and look at the playoff games that they won, and look, I thought Denver, and I think if we go back to our very first episode of this podcast, and you were doing the rankings at the time, and I told you I believed in Denver. I thought Denver was a team that nobody was really talking about. Had they had a legitimate quarterback, and had they not had to play in that crazy weather situation, that Denver probably wins that game. Right?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Now that it's New England and Seattle, you're not excited at all.
No, I mean Seattle's got a great defense, and I think
Seattle's really good.
And I think they're going to win. Yeah, I think they're going to win the game. They have a really talented receiver in Smith and Jigba, and I like the way that they run the ball. They run the ball hard. I know that Charbonnet's out, but Walker runs the ball really well. I kind of think Seattle's an interesting team, and I like what Drake May's done with New England, and I think Vrabel's done a nice job. It's just doesn't have the sex appeal, Mike, that the Super Bowl normally has.
I got it. Let me ask you a question. You realize what the odds were for both those teams at the start of the year to get to the Super Bowl? And had you bet them what it would have been worth?
Yeah, New England's was really long.
New England's was 80-1.
Yeah.
So if you bet $10,
Yeah.
you're still in pretty good shape. If you bet 100, you're in terrific shape.
Yeah.
At $8 grand. Now Seattle was 60-1 to
Yeah.
win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. Now that was a great bet if you could anticipate that they were going to be a good team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Both of them kind of came out of nowhere a little bit this season. I mean, I kind of thought Seattle would be a decent team. I still had both the Rams and 49ers ahead of them in that division, but I looked at the NFC and I thought, Seattle, they could be a playoff team. They can get in. Darnold had a nice season last year. He can repeat that. I didn't think that they would be the best team in the NFL. And we started to see that probably around week 10 or 11. We were like, yeah, this might be the best team.
What's the Rams-Seattle game that we watched? Great game, by the way. Was that the actual Super Bowl? Did we check out now on football? Was that the actual Super Bowl?
I'm curious. I know everybody will have it on their TV because there's Super Bowl parties and everything. Other than the bettors, Mike, I don't think people outside of Boston and Seattle really give 2 cents about.
I think it's funny. If you took a map of the United States, could you draw a straight line from Boston to Seattle?
That's close. Yeah, you might be able to.
Completely across the country, straight line? It
might connect through part of Canada. I have to
look. Yeah, you use the border of Canada to get there.
Yeah.
All right, let's check our text board again.
Yeah.
E.G. Butler, 114, says, consistency on offense, solidify the offensive line. Well, solidifying the offensive line, other than Lane Johnson coming back, I don't know what more you can do. I guess you can get maybe a better right guard. Use the tight end more. Well, if Goddard's not there, I don't know if you can use the tight end more. Balance the run game and have Hurts run more. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's a good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than just. I think it's more than Lane Johnson. I mean, Dickerson was hurt all year. He's got to bounce back. He's had a bunch of injuries. I thought Mailata had his worst year as an Eagle. This year, like he's got to be better.
Well, you're not going to replace any of those guys.
Well, no, you're not going to replace them. They need to be better. They need to be better, and you need to figure out right guard because I think right guard's an issue. And you got to what you do. You have to draft the replacement for Lane Johnson because he's going to be 36. Yeah. Brian Brown says there obviously is a problem in Eagle Land that nobody wants to come here.
Well, I don't know. I'm not ready to make that call that nobody wants to come here.
So
I think there's a lot of people that would like to come here. They're just younger candidates.
Some people think it's a Sirianni problem. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, why would it be a Sirianni problem?
Well, Joseph don't mind if I'm positive if I'm saying it wrong. So Sirianni wants more credit than he's deserved, and he doesn't excite me.
Nick doesn't say. Well, yeah, it's the usuals coming out against Nick Sirianni. Like I said, I've been put at bay. I think he's a successful coach. I don't particularly care for him that much. He's not well liked by me, but I'm tolerant of the fact that he's the head coach of the Eagles because they've been pretty good under him. So I can't say anything. I'd look like a fool if I said Nick Sirianni has to go.
Yeah.
Right. But so what would be the impediment of coming here? If you get autonomy to run the offense, which is what they're saying that he has to do, why wouldn't you come here?
But maybe it's because they might be saying you have autonomy, but when they sit in those meetings and they listen to what's being said, maybe somewhere is triggered in the back of their head saying, yeah, I won't have autonomy on this.
All right. Now, they interviewed Declan Doyle, by the way.
29, I think he was 29 years old.
20. He withdrew his name from consideration. Now, I don't know why a guy like that would he would have, I don't know, a guy like that who's young, who could grow. I guess if he didn't perform, he would get the same ziggy that that Patullo got, right?
Yeah.
So that's why a young guy with Charlie Weiss says, no. I'm staying in college football. I can't do that job either. I understand why those guys would want to do it. Excuse me. Nathan Shieldhouse is being interviewed by a lot of people. He's still in possible. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just odd, Mike. And with the guys who withdraw their name from consideration, I think that's a newer trend. That after they interview and they kind of get the sense that
they're not going to be the guy.
They're not going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So maybe they're withdrawing their name so that it doesn't look like they lost
the job. That's exactly why they do it.
Yeah. That's what I think it is.
All right. Let's take our first break of the show. And on the other side, the premier NFL coach, maybe ever, did not get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. You know who we're talking about, the man with the 24-year-old girlfriend who probably held it against him. This is the Pattison Podcast. If you find yourself on the injured list, get help now. Call Wapner Newman, PA, New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorneys. The number is 215-569-0900, or visit them online at wapnernewman.com. Pattison Podcast continues after this.
The Peruzzi Automotive Group on Business Route 1 in Fairless Hills is looking for auto techs, all skill levels. Here's a chance to work for a locally owned family business that offers many benefits. For more information, call the service director, John Damarotis, at 215-943-6200. That's 215-943-6200, or visit any Peruzzi service department. Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Are you living with relentless pain? St. Mary has a new way to help. Knee and hip replacements with a smarter process for faster recovery, earning prestigious awards for quality and value. A rapid recovery program has you walking just hours after surgery, and breakthrough advances such as custom-fit joints position you for a longer pain-free life. 215-710-5888. St. Mary Orthopedics. It's your health. Expect more.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's.
Yeah, it's the Pattison Podcast with Mike Riccinelli and Anthony Sanfilippo. So, Anthony, let's talk about Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
None of us like him. Nobody really likes him. But the fact of the matter is he's one of those guys that you got to give it up to and go, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He should be in on the first ballot. What do you think was at work here?
Well, I'm okay with him not getting in on the first ballot.
Really? Because of Spygate?
Because of a lot of things. But I mean, yeah, I'm okay if you're going to sit there and say, look, he's going to get in eventually. And if it's just kind of like, this is a slap on the wrist, you're going to get your due. You'll get in next year, second ballot, fine. You don't get in first ballot because you cheated a couple of times.
You like that message?
Yeah.
Then how does Carlos Beltran get in the Hall of Fame?
Look what they do in baseball, Mike. There's guys who cheated who will never get in.
It's true, but Carlos Beltran cheated and got in the Hall of Fame.
We've had that discussion though. Like either if you're going to let
similar
cheaters in, you let them all in. What's that? I'm sorry.
It's a similar precedent. He got in because people forgave it. Like he was so overwhelmingly a Hall of Famer, they voted him in. This guy is so overwhelmingly a Hall of Famer without Spygate or Deflategate or whatever that.
But they're both of them. There's two of them.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm okay.
There's outrage all over the NFL. Outrage.
Oh, of course there is. It's always fake outrage out there whenever something goes against what you expect it to be. But it's not like he's not going to get in. It'd be different if they like held him out forever. If they, Pete Rosed him and didn't let him in.
Yeah.
Right. That's a whole different scenario.
Well, how do you know that won't happen?
I don't think it will. I think that this is a one-off. I think this is like, hey, we're just, and then you got the Hall of Fame coming out saying that they felt like some of the voters may have violated the rule. Come on, like if you think that you want to, if you're a voter and you feel like you have a justification for not voting for someone for a given year, but you can change your mind next year, and that's the process. That's the process. I'm okay with it.
All right. What about the girlfriend? You think that held him back?
Yes.
You think that held him back? Let's talk about that for a second.
Let me throw a couple more things at you. About Belichick. All right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away from what he did with the New England Patriots. I really don't, because he's the best coach, most successful coach we've ever seen. But he had Tom Brady. Without Tom Brady, he's a sub 500 coach. Without Tom Brady, that's one thing. When he was fired by New England, there were 8 openings for jobs.
Nobody got
NFL.
him. Right.
Nobody hired him.
Nobody hired him. You're right.
Why did nobody hire him?
I don't know. Maybe his arrogance got in the way.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe the girlfriend was part of it at the time, right? Like they don't want that coming around.
Let's talk about this for a second. This girlfriend.
Yeah.
You don't think he's entitled to have a girlfriend that young?
God bless him. God bless him.
Well, I don't know if we go God bless him, but what? Why would you hold that against him?
I don't hold it against him. I personally don't hold it against him. But if you're running a business and you think that somebody in that person's life is detrimental to them doing the job that you need them to do for your business to succeed, it's very fair to say, I'm going to pass on that person and go with somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that from a business perspective. Okay.
I get it. Listen, he belongs in the Hall of Fame first ballot. I think it's aggressive. It's just silliness.
I'm with you. I just don't think it had to be right away.
By the way, we got a lot of chat questions here. This is a question that you posed to both of us from John Lucas Adams.
Yeah.
Question. I would love to hear your answers. Given Barkley coming off a 2,000-yard rushing, 50% subsequent year history shows who decided that Jalen ran 38% less. The offensive coordinator, the head coach, Jalen Hurts, others. Your answer to that, Ant?
I think it's Jalen first with the blessing of the head coach. Yes. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's Jalen's aura giving off, I don't want to run.
Yes. And the head coach.
So they called accordingly.
Yeah. And the head coach says, we're okay with that. Figure out a way around it.
All right. So how are we still okay with Jalen?
if
he doesn't want to do the things that need to be done to win games, like how could we accept that?
Mike, I don't know. There was a time in this city where this what the Eagles do now would certainly never be accepted. But once you win, people get a lot of passes. People get a lot more passes once you win. And I understand. I get it. I understand why. But at the same time, when you look at the player and you look at what he is and you compare him to quarterbacks around the league and you go, man, if you could just do a little bit more of this, a little bit more, you're a good quarterback. If you just do a little bit more, you could be a great quarterback.
A little bit more Lamar Jackson.
A little bit.
A little bit more. Now, he doesn't throw the ball like Lamar Jackson.
No, he doesn't have that arm.
And he doesn't run it like Lamar Jackson. But to have that kind of daring is what we need.
Yeah, a little bit more Josh Allen.
A little daring and get down. A little bit daring. Everybody's running the ball. Look at Drake May. How many games he won with his legs this year?
Yeah.
He's an MVP candidate.
Yeah. You need a little Josh Allen in you. You need because he's a gambler, right?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, you need a little gambler in you too. That's the other thing that I think that Jalen lacks is the willingness to take a risk every once in a while.
Yeah, he doesn't want to run. I don't know what they can do about the quarterback position. He is what he is. You got to find an offensive coordinator that can do the things that Jalen Hurts does a little better than what he does. Because I don't think he's going to substantially change.
Rock Philly says when McNabb stopped running, the Eagles' offense started to suck back then too.
Oh, it did. He's so much of a weapon when he gets out of the pocket and runs.
Yeah.
Like what defenses can stop that? I mean, that's 12 yards at a clip that he gets.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's move on to some Philly stuff. Pretty soon, spring training.
Yeah.
But an interesting outfield. You pose an interesting question. First of all, the news of the day looks like Harper will go to the 2-hole. You're okay with that?
That's where he belongs. I always felt that he should be the leadoff hitter, Mike, because he walks, he gets on base, he takes a lot of pitches. He doesn't want to lead off. So This is like the meeting in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Like he wants to hit third. The Phillies think he should lead off. They're going to make him bat second.
All right. Harrison Bader was quoted as lamenting the fact the Phillies didn't sign him. Signed with the Giants. He'll play out there. Big center field. He can roam in. He'll be good out there probably.
Yeah.
The Phillies said, no. We got to make room for the young kid. Harrison wanted to come back. So let's play a little game. Which outfield, and this is for the chat board as well.
Yeah.
Which outfield would you have preferred from left field to right field? The first one being Crawford, Bader, Marsh, and a veteran platoon guy.
Yeah, because that would
Bader would be playing center field.
Yeah, if you brought Bader back, Bader would have played center, Crawford would have played left, and then Marsh and
Adolis Garcia.
Nah, you probably don't do that as a platoon. You probably go after like a Randall Grichuk type
to play right field.
To play right field.
I don't think I like that outfield.
Okay.
First of all, let me just say, I know you're a fan of Bader. I'm not.
Okay.
I think he's the guy who would regress back into his mediocrity.
I don't disagree with that. I just think that there's a value that he brings that's a little bit different than a lot of other guys.
I think he's the Kelly Oubre of
That's
baseball.
Fair. That's fair.
Been with 8 teams, does enough to impress you, but really doesn't win.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, the second one. Marsh, Kemp, Bader, Garcia, and you would have traded Crawford for an upgrade elsewhere.
That's your second option.
Your second option.
Right? Like if you're bringing back Bader and that would have assumed you did it after you signed Adolis Garcia.
Uh-huh.
So what do? You have an option in left field. You either one of two things. You either trade Crawford for something and Marsh and Kemp as your platoon, or you traded Marsh and put Crawford in left field and you maybe got another reliever or something in exchange for Brandon Marsh.
In that case, that outfield would be Crawford in left, Bader in center, Garcia in right field, trading Marsh.
Yeah.
Now, that's something that maybe I could get used to, that outfield.
I hear you.
I mean, I like the fact that you're giving Crawford a shot, so I'm okay with any outfield that Crawford's in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, the one that it's going to be Marsh, Kemp, platooning in left, Crawford in center, Garcia in right. Now, can Crawford be an everyday player?
Well, they're going to try. They're going to make him play practically every day. I mean, he'll get a few games off, but he's going to be the everyday center fielder to start the season for sure. Okay. Here's the thing, Mike. Did you know MLB Network, they do their top 10 rankings at every position? They had Brandon Marsh in the top 10 in left field.
Really? Well, as a left fielder, he's a pretty good defensive player.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like
last year.
Which of those combinations is the best combination? And I think that the way that they did it is close to the best. It might be second best, but it's certainly not the worst of the four.
Crawford, Bader, Garcia would have made a lot of sense for me.
Then you would have traded
another right-handed stick in there,
and you would have traded Marsh.
You would have traded Marsh.
Yeah, I mean, you could have done that.
That would have been my second choice.
But the difference there is Marsh is, I think, like $5 million or somewhere around that. Bader got 10.5 and Garcia got 10. So two of the three outfielders, if you're going to want one rookie, the other two outfielders are making $21 million versus $15 million. It's a $6 million difference. And is that difference better than a $6 million? Is it worth that $6 million? You know what I'm saying? I guess that's the question.
Let me ask you a question about the rotation. First of all, we have IROC is coming in again with us. Bader's hitting didn't improve by dumb luck. It was said he changed his hitting approach and batting style. Well, we will see who puts up better stats, Bader or Garcia.
I think Bader will regress, like you said, Mike. I don't think he's going to have the season that he had.
I don't think guys like that change their stripes from mediocre.
Yeah, Garcia will hit for more power. So you're going to get more power out of Garcia. You're going to get more home runs out of Garcia. You might have got a better batting average, better on base out of Bader.
Everybody loved Bader. He brings energy. How about Bader for a 2-year bridge? He brings energy. Everybody loved that whole thing. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like that fanciness that he brought to the table. Yeah, I don't know why. It just rubbed me the wrong way. He was too cocky for his ability.
He was, but he was also a panderer too. Like he does the whole thing. He did that Instagram thing back in November to the fans of Philadelphia.
He pandered the other day.
The other day, right? Where he said that it was
What a
the
privilege it was to play in front of Philadelphia fans.
best fans he's ever played in front of.
Yeah, so they love him for that, right?
He says that in the press conference in San Francisco. He said that, which was kind of
yes, he did.
Yes,
he did. The Giants are a good spot for him, man.
It is a good spot for him.
Yeah,
it
really is.
Yeah.
All right, Ant, let's move on. Let's go.
You said you had a question about the rotation?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a question about the rotation.
Yeah.
Before we move on. I don't know from Wheeler. So right now they have 3 guys in there. They have Nola.
Yeah.
They have Luzardo.
Yeah.
They have Painter.
And Sanchez.
Oh, I forgot about Sanchez. They got an ace.
Yeah.
So they got an ace, and then what?
So I think Wheeler's going to be ready early. But let's just for the game that we're playing here, let's pretend Zach Wheeler is not going to be ready till May. You're probably going into the season with a rotation in this order of Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Painter, Taijuan Walker.
Yeah.
Again, that's assuming Zach Wheeler's not ready. If Wheeler's ready, Walker's not in that conversation. Everybody else slots down one spot.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
You're okay with that rotation?
Well, I'm okay with it. I don't like the depth. I wish there was better depth. But as far as the 5 guys, if you're going to go Wheeler and Sanchez are 2 of the best pitchers in baseball.
Uh-huh.
It's hands down. Luzardo showed me a lot of something in the playoffs last year. Like I thought that he was a little bit of a too emotional of a pitcher at times during the regular season, but he buckled down and was really good in the postseason.
Yes, he was.
And so that showed me something. And so I like Luzardo. Nola as your number 4, he's going to have a better year than he did last year. There's no question he'll bounce back. He may not be the Aaron Nola of old, but he's not going to be a 6 ERA guy. And Painter's a top young prospect as your 5th starter. I'm perfectly fine with that as the 5 guys. I don't like what's behind them, but I like that group of 5.
Right, as they stand now, as we're coming into spring training, as they stand now, what are they?
They're still, in my mind, the best team in the NL East. I think that the Mets are better, but not enough in my mind. The Braves are the team, if they stay healthy, that you got to be careful of. I think that's the team to keep an eye on more than the Mets. Everybody focuses on the Mets because they hate the Mets, but the Braves are the team that's better than them right now. They're not as good. Phillies are not as good as the Dodgers.
Are they as good as the Cubs?
Yeah. I mean, Cubs are okay, but
good as the Brewers.
Yeah, I don't know. Brewers got worse in my mind.
Right, so running it back isn't necessarily that bad a thing. They're running it back with a team that just can't beat the Dodgers.
That's where you're at. Is like the Phillies are still probably the 2nd best team in the National League.
By the way, John Lucas Adams loves a baiter. It's called swagger, Mike.
Yeah,
you can't be a 240 lifetime hitter and have swagger. You can't do it. You can't. You hit 280, you can have swagger. You hit 240 something, you can't have swagger. What's his lifetime average? 245?
Something like I can look it up real quick, but it's not even just the average. I mean, his overall numbers are as in his career are not great, and I don't just mean by batting average. I just mean everything. In his career, 247, 313 on base percentage, which is subpar.
Fair.
Yeah, 401 slugging, which is blah, and 714 OPS. OPS plus, which is the one I like the most because it compares to everybody else, is 96, which is the average player in baseball is 100.
And that's what he is.
Below average.
Completely mediocre, below average player.
Yeah.
So
pretty good defensive
folks,
player.
I know you love them. I know I get it, but come on. It's not that big a loss, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm with you. Really good defensive player, but offensively just mediocre at best.
All right, here's the question as we go into a break to come out of the break.
Yeah.
Would you make a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Ooh.
If Milwaukee called you and said, give me Embiid straight up.
Wow.
It's the Pattison Podcast. Winners win. Wapner Newman has been winning for families throughout Philadelphia area and New Jersey since 1978. If you need a winner, call Wapner Newman, 215-569-0900, 0900, or or check him out online at Wapner, Wapner, Newman, NEWMAN.com. We're back after this.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free Checking Plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them, like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
Flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
It's the Pattison Podcast. Mike Missinelli, Anthony Sanfilippo. All right, the 76ers. First of all, they got swamped by Charlotte. They changed the time of the game to 3 p.m. Apparently, the Sixers' biorhythms clock was off because a bad basketball team smashes them around without Embiid and George, of course. And they beat the Bucks last night or 2 nights ago, 139-122, with Embiid and George combining for 61 points. George with 9 3-pointers en route to 32 points. Tonight, the Sixers against Sacramento. One of the developments is looks like Jared McCain has found his range a little bit. He had 17, 6 for 8 from the field, 5 of 6 on threes for Jared McCain. So that's a good sign. The trade deadline is coming up, Ant. February 5th. And a lot of people are saying, the two guys that they could get something for at this point that are coveted, Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre. How do you feel about moving those guys?
I'm okay if you need to move them. I mean, look, I know you don't like Oubre. I think Oubre serves a purpose off the bench as the number 6 guy. So you would have to replace that in some way. But I'm okay if you decide to move off of him to get something in return. And I'm fine if you trade Drummond. So I'm all right with those.
Now, would you favor trading Andre Drummond? Has been a very valuable piece because then Bona is the guy who backs up Embiid. You never know from Embiid from night to night.
That's the concern. The concern there is if Embiid can stay healthy, because if Embiid goes down, then you don't have Bona's not a guy you can play plug and play. Like Drummond has at least been a starter in this league before. He could play the position. I mean, he's not going to give you what Embiid gives you, but he's not going to hurt you. Bona is just a guy that, in my mind, can only come in for defensive purposes, play, 15 minutes a night, and that's where the role that he serves best. Yeah. You can't count on him for more. So
he has some salary cap problems right now, so that's why we're talking about this particular issue. They're $7 million above the luxury tax, and they're $1 million away from that first apron that really hampers teams. Yeah. But Embiid is playing like an all-star. 33.3 points. 10 boards, 5.5 assists, shooting 58.3% over the last 5 games. Is he an all-star? Should he be named to the all-star team?
It's hard to say no. I mean, the way he's played, right? I mean, I don't know.
Has he played enough to be an all-star?
I mean, guys get named to all-star teams all the time that don't belong there because they either didn't play enough or their stats aren't the greatest. And I'm not just talking basketball, I'm talking about any sport. So if you're gonna use that as, you have a little bit more leeway for that. He is a one of the most popular players in the league, playing great basketball. Maybe you let it slide that he hasn't played enough and he deserves to be at the All-Star game because people would like to see him there.
Okay, here's a bigger question. Giannis Antetokounmpo finally is probably given permission. I don't know if he's given permission, but he's kind of resigned himself to the fact that it's not going to happen in Milwaukee anymore, and maybe he should move on elsewhere.
Yeah.
If the Bucks called you and said, you know what, the best we could possibly do here, salary-wise and everything else, you give me Embiid, we'll give you Giannis. Are you doing it? And I'm opening this up to the chat board. Giannis for Embiid. How many people say no to that? Because I certainly don't say no. I do that in a blink.
I'm a little bit more reluctant, but I probably would do. I probably would do it. Not because I think Giannis comes in here, replaces Embiid, and this team's a championship team. I would do it because I think it gets you out from the remaining years of Embiid's contract, which are
prohibitive,
potentially prohibitive. Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be the reason I would lean yes, but I would do it reluctantly, Mike, because I still think Embiid is one of the top players, even with his limitations. Still
really reluctantly, you would do that. You were talking about your player in Giannis, a guy. Can you imagine how fast they would be with Giannis and the two guards they have?
Yeah, I know. I still don't think they would win.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think that kind of a trade would put them as a viable favorite in the East?
I mean, it would put them in no different position, I think, than they're currently in.
Really?
In all honesty,
you don't think it would improve the Sixers?
I mean, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
We're not seeing eye to eye on this at all. Let me look at the chat. What's the chat saying? John Lucas out of there. I say yes. Ford. I would do Giannis for Embiid in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Ford. Giannis can run with VJ and Tyrese. Embiid slows the Sixers down as currently constituted. Oh, the chat board is on board with it. Now, I did hear a survey on a sports talk station that said no, that they would not make the deal, that they would hold on to Embiid instead of trading him for Giannis. And I can't, for the life of me, figure out how people could have that opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, Embiid has been the best player for a long time here, and he's showing that he can still play the game. It's just that you hold your breath every time you watch. Is he going to get hurt again? And I think that's where the reluctance comes in, because it's like, if you could promise me that he wouldn't get hurt, then I'm a no.
You can't. I mean, that's part of the equation. That's part of the natural equation of things.
Yes. Well, which also then begs this question, Mike. Why the hell would Milwaukee do it?
Because Milwaukee knows that time's run out for Giannis.
Yeah,
so
but why would
they have to get the best return possible. To get a superstar, like a marquee guy like Embiid, would really help their franchise, because they're replacing one guy with another guy, and it wouldn't be such a burden and such a smash on the over the top of the head of the fan base there.
Yeah. But I still don't think they would do it.
Look at the Luka trade. That was a smash over the head of Dallas fans because they didn't really get a return. But if you get Embiid in a return for Giannis, then you mollify that fan base, no?
I don't know. Do they look at it the same way that a lot of the fans on our chat board are looking at it? Like,
they're looking at it like, we have no choice. The guy wants out. What's the best we could do? We're going to make a crappy trade. We're going to get 4 players that total his salary, or we're going to get one marquee player.
Yeah. Well, and as IROC Philly says, and this is what a lot of people are saying, Milwaukee would want VJ.
Well, we're not going to give VJ.
Well, then you're not going to get Giannis.
This would be a straight up trade. That's the question. A straight up trade. No, because if you add VJ, everybody's going to say no. You're going to say no. So the fictional trade here is straight up and be for Giannis. That's what I want people to sound off on.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just think it would have to have a lot of elements to it.
Okay.
That
By the
are
way,
not,
speaking of the
that
Sixers,
it can't be straight up. But yeah,
there have only been 3 Sixers 4 Sixers all time on the cover of Slam magazine. I know, Ant, you subscribe to Slam.
Yeah, big reader.
So I could tell you that the 2 that were on recently, and then they had a sit-down session with both of them, VJ and Maxey on the cover of the newest Slam magazine, joining the 2 previous ones. Who were they, Ant?
Well, Allen Iverson,
Allen Iverson, definitely on the cover of Slam.
That was a given. And I got this. You asked me this before we went live, and I got the second one wrong.
Yes.
I guessed because I was trying to think of what would have been an interesting cover story for them. I guessed that at the time it would have been Ben Simmons, but it was not.
It was not Ben Simmons. It was Joel Embiid.
It was Joel.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. All right. Let's talk now some Flyers. Anthony, you got to make sense of this Flyer season to me, because there's a lot of people that are dazed and confused about what this team is. They keep losing games and they streak and they play well, and then they're horrible. What is happening with the Flyers? They lost to the Blue Jackets last night. What's going on?
Yeah, 2-7-2 in their last 11 games. They've fallen from being third place in the division, which was a secure playoff spot, to now being 6 points out of a playoff spot in those 11
6 points
games.
Is a lot to be out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, it's equivalent to being they have 30 games left. It's equivalent to being 3 games out of a. So if you ignore the points and think of it in the terms of the NBA or Major League Baseball, they are 3 back with 30 to play. That's where they are. It's a tough thing. That's a tough climb. It's not that easy. It's not that easy.
A lot of people look at that and go, that's not that tough, 3 games. But in the hockey, it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard, because you're picking up maybe a point, and then you lose a point, and then you get 2, but you lose 1, right? Like, you could win a game against a team you're chasing, but if you win in overtime, the other team gets a point, you get 2, so you only get 1 point, even though you won the game. Correct. Right? It's not like you're making up the full game on the team by winning. So there's a lot of hockey makes it harder. So that's where they're at. Mike, it's been a problem with handling pressure. I don't know how else to describe it, but earlier in the year, in the first half of the season, they were playing really well in their own end. They were playing a smart defensive system. They were keep taking away the middle of the ice, not letting teams get great chances. And when other teams got those chances, Dan Vladar was playing above expectations. His expected goals against save percentage was one of the best in the NHL. Like, it was really good on what they call high danger chances, or shots from that are really in close. Then Vladar got hurt, and Ayerson came in. He was not good for a while, although he played well on the road trip, but not good for a while. And it just seemed like that coincided with the team losing its defensive zone structure. And when that happens, you're running around in your own end. Guys are getting open on the back. I wrote about this today. Guys are getting open on the back door nonstop in these games. And last night was no different. They lose the game to Columbus. They give up goals on the back door over there. And then if it wasn't for Vladar made 2 unbelievable saves last night to kind of keep them in the game. Konechny scores the hat trick, and they tie it at 3. And then they lose the game on yet another backdoor play where it's lack of communication between 2 guys and who's responsible to be in a certain spot, and you get beat. And you should not lose those kinds of games. That's a very simple communication thing that they seem to crack under pressure. And I can't give you an explanation.
Is that coaching? Let me ask you that, because a lot of people, if it just happened to the Eagles, we go right to Sirianni.
I mean, I would say you could question coaching if the coach wasn't preaching the same thing, right? So like, if we're watching the game and the coach is not identifying it, or the coach is giving you excuses like, oh, well, this, or oh, well, that, then you can sit there and go, yeah, it's coaching. The coach isn't fixing this. But Tocchet has addressed this. Like, Tocchett's addressed this with the media several times. You know that they work on it in practice. You watch them defend in practice and see what they're doing. It's being addressed. It's not that the players don't know what to do here. They just, for whatever reason, when the game gets tight, they just don't make the right decisions.
They don't have the right players.
That's ultimately what it becomes, right? That's the ultimate answer.
You don't have the right players if you don't know how to make those kind of plays when you need to.
Right. And so ultimately what's going to have to happen, and that's why this is it's going to be a crucial offseason. I mean, look, they can still make the playoffs what I'm not trying to say it's not going to happen at this point, but it is going to be tough. But it's going to be a crucial offseason for Danny Briere, Keith Jones, and the executives, because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to management having the right people. Coaches can only work with what they have, right? It's Tocchet's first year, and this is what he's working with. He's going to go back to Danny Briere in the offseason and say, okay, I can't have these four guys. You need to find replacements for them. And that's what's going to have to be. That's where the managers are going to have to come into play.
Yeah. All right. So our poll looks like people will have decided that, they would make that trade, Giannis, for Embiid. I think our final break of the show, we come back with a little something we like to call quick hitters. And we're going to talk a little bit about the snowstorm of the century that happened.
Yeah, and I ran into something else yesterday, Mike, that I want to get into about the snow.
We'll get into that about snow. Yes. First of all, let me tell you something. I hate it. The people that enjoy snow, I don't know what, I can't stand it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I wish I lived in a climate that didn't have it, but we're going to get hit again apparently this weekend. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about this whole stuff. We'll also talk about the Sixers honoring the 2001 team, my favorite team of all time with the Sixers.
Really?
2001 team. Yeah, absolutely it was. It's the On Pattison Podcast. And, hey, time's running out. The game's on the line. Who do you want taking the last shot? You want Wapner Newman, of course. PA and New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorney since 1978. Call 215-569-0900 or visit wapnernewman.com. We're back after this.
The Peruzzi Automotive Group on Business Route 1 in Fairless Hills is looking for auto techs, all skill levels. Here's a chance to work for a locally owned family business that offers many benefits. For more information, call the service director, John Damarotis, at 215-943-6200. That's 215-943-6200, or visit any Peruzzi service department. Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's.
Are you living with relentless pain? St. Mary has a new way to help. Knee and hip replacements with a smarter process for faster recovery, earning prestigious awards for quality and value. A rapid recovery program has you walking just hours after surgery. And breakthrough advances, such as custom-fit joints, position you for a longer pain-free life. 215-710-5888. St. Mary Orthopedics. It's your health. Expect more.
All right, let's talk about snow. First of all, kids can't get a break anymore with the snow because they had virtual learning.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Some school districts didn't give them off on Monday or Tuesday, and they had virtual learning, but they still had to be in class. What a blow to a kid who can't go out sledding because he got virtual learning. But anyway, the snowstorm hit us. It was bad, and it turned icy, and it's terrible. And cars got plowed in, and you know what happens when the plows go through a street? They plow in your driveway, and you got to shovel that heavy stuff out of the driveway. Anthony, I know you don't look forward to that, do you?
Well, I have a problem with it, Mike, because
problem with it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would it be wrong? Now, look, I live on a snow emergency route, right? So I understand that my street needs to be the first one plowed, and
you got to get your cars off that road,
right? And it's got to be plowed regularly. And I'm on board, and I understand. But on my street where I'm located, there's 4 houses, right? It's just really it's nobody across. We have woods across the street, so it's just my neighbors on either side of me, and then there's one other house next to my neighbor on my right. Would it be so hard on this stretch of road that the plows just They turn the plow straight when you're coming past our driveway and then turn it back again. Like, how hard would that be? It's 4 homes. It's 4 homes.
Oh, man. You're going to give this guy, we want him to be precision?
Well, it doesn't have to be. I understand it's not going to be perfect, right? But then they plow you in, you dig out, then they plow you back in again, you dig out again. Like I shouldn't have to constantly dig out over and over and over and over again. Like, I don't mind it. You plow it onto the sidewalk. I'll shovel the sidewalk. That's fine. I don't care that you make a big mound. Fine by me. Just don't block my cars in so that my wife and I can't get out. It's a pain in the ass.
Don't block your cars in, but then you got to use some elbow grease and shovel it out yourself. That's what everybody else has to do in America.
Yeah, and it sucks. But you know what? As much as I complain, and this changed because I texted you that I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
But then something happened yesterday.
What happened?
I had to drive into South Philly yesterday.
Uh-huh.
My dentist is in South Philly, so I had a dentist appointment.
Okay.
I had to drive into South Philly. Mike, it was like Armageddon in South Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it was 2 days after the snow.
It's tough.
3 days after the snow, rather. There were streets completely untouched.
Yeah.
Like no plowing at all. And other than Broad Street, even the side streets like 13th and 14th and you know, a lot of streets that go, you know, in and out of Center City to South Philly, barely touched. Cars sliding all over the place, getting stuck in the middle of the road, people having to get out and help each other push cars. This is 3 days after the snow. Where the hell?
I feel bad for the people that live in the city because that's the kind of city services that you're going to get. Sometimes when it happens like that severely, you're not going to get it. And even when you get it, if you get your street plowed, you can't get your car out. Your car is plowed in.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. I tried to park at Methodist Hospital. They couldn't park in their garage because it was so full. And I'm thinking to myself, what if people have doctor's appointments, like in the hospital? What if they have to come into the hospital, drive themselves? There's nowhere to park. I ended up parking like all this, you know, all the South Philly people do. I ended up parking in the middle of Broad Street. I made a spot in the middle of Broad Street.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do. I had no choice. There was nowhere to put my car.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on and talk about. Wasn't there something else that was bugging you about the snow? No, okay.
No, it was.
You got all of it out.
Look, I hate the snow, Mike.
I just had knee surgery, so I went out and tried to take my trash out.
Yeah,
and of course I slip and fall and wrench my knee.
Oh,
so there's that. I just don't. I just hate wintertime. I just hate this winter has been horrible.
Yeah. Hopefully this storm misses us this weekend. It's looking like there's a chance it's just going to be a clipper, like quick.
Yeah. Did you see the snow removal that they had in Northern Liberties, though? They had that big melter out there.
Yeah.
So Northern Liberties was taken care of.
Oh, yeah, but that's probably somebody in their company that probably had one of those. I'm certain
a big melter truck. Massive.
Does the city have that? If so,
yes.
why it's the city's truck?
City. Yeah, it's a city truck.
Oh, then they should take them to South Philly. They avoided South Philadelphia.
They can't fit that big truck in South Philly. That's a problem.
Maybe
big melter.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the 2001 Sixers, my favorite team.
Yeah.
My favorite coach of all time is Larry Brown. And the way he had that team going, I was a big fan of that team before they made the trade for Dikembe Mutombo. I thought Dikembe Mutombo messed them up a little bit, even though they thought they needed Dikembe to go against Shaq in the playoffs, in the finals, and Shaq destroyed him anyway. But they are honoring the 2001 team on Saturday night. And some people have a problem with it. It's not a championship team that you should not honor a non-championship team. How do you feel about that, Ann?
I think that those people are crazy. Like, this was a fun team. This was a memorable team. This was a team that had the heart of the city completely in their palm of their hand. Do you remember, Mike? People were driving around. Every car had a Sixers flag flying from every car. It was unbelievable. It's all anybody talked about. It was such a fun time in Philadelphia. Like, to sit there and say we shouldn't reminisce on that and remember that and honor that once every 5 years or 10 years. That's ridiculous. That was a fun.
I agree. And they made a movie about that team, Everything But the Chip.
Yeah.
I've seen on NBA TV. Fascinating team. Very under-talented team except for the one superstar, who, by the way, that superstar was called an absolute shit human by Andrew Bogut of Australia because he kind of missed some engagements. He was out there representing, and he missed some engagements, including some children's camps and such.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise us in Philadelphia that he would blow that off, right?
Not one iota.
But Bogut called him a shit human being.
I know he did. And that's a lot. That's saying a lot. Look, AI is what he is, right? But he's beloved here because he never hid from his flaws, Mike. He never, he was as genuine as it got. Like, you knew that AI was going to be late. You knew AI wasn't going to practice hard. You knew AI was going to maybe miss an event. But you also knew that AI was going to go out on the court and ball out for 48
give you
minutes.
40 against the Lakers in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
So you accepted the flaws because he was so great on the court. And
yeah, he really was.
Yeah, so
I had to laugh at the story. Like, it was surprising that he would blow off events. He got a free trip to Australia. He's hanging out with his fellas out there in Australia. He doesn't have time to actually do things that you're supposed to be doing to get paid out there. He's already got the check probably cashed. All right, let's move on.
By the way, just a little publicity thing on that. Bob Cooney did a fun thing today on Pattison. He put together a 15-question quiz about the 2000-2001 76.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you give me a couple questions?
I'll give you a couple. You want a couple? I'll give you a couple.
I was out in LA for that series, by the way.
Okay. All right.
We were out there broadcasting, and I was working for WB 17 on the news team at that point. I was a sports anchor. So I was out there, and we had to do our remote outside the Staples Center because you weren't allowed to do it inside. So like right before the half, I was out there doing a stand-up, and Gabe Kaplan walked by. Not Mr. Cotter walked right into my shot. And I go, "What's up, Gabe?" And he was trying to get into the building, and he couldn't get in.
That's crazy.
Not even Mr. Cotter could get in.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild. All right, I'll give you a couple trivia questions.
A couple questions.
Bob Cooney trivia questions. It's on Pattison.com if you want
to
play at home. There were 4 players who averaged double figures that season in scoring for the Sixers. Obviously, AI is one of them. Who are the other 3?
Aaron McKee.
Correct.
George Lynch.
No.
Tyrone Hill.
No.
I
know, right?
Jermaine Jones.
No.
Oh my God. Eric Snow?
Nope.
Well, who averaged double figures? Dikembe?
Dikembe averaged 11.7. And the other guy is a slight trick question because he was traded for Dikembe. Theo Ratliff.
Averaged I said 12, Theo and Dikembe.
Yeah, 12.4.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
12.4.
All right, what else you
got? The Sixers played 23 playoff games that season. How many times did they score 100 or more points?
Of the 23?
Of the 23.
16.
No. Lower.
Really?
Much.
Well, I mean, their defense was impenetrable then.
Yeah. 5.
Larry Brown coached team. How many?
5.
5 is that's it?
5 of the 23.
Oh my God. These are hard questions, man. These are definitely hard questions. Give me one more. I'll take one more shot.
You want one more? All right, let me see. The Sixers acquired Mutombo from Atlanta in a midseason trade that involved 6 players. We already mentioned one is Theo Ratliff. How many of the other 4 guys that were in that trade can you name?
Well, it was the kid from Temple, Pepe.
Yeah, Pepe Sanchez is correct.
It was the kid from Kentucky. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
I know the answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Give him
Nazir Muhammad.
Nazir Muhammad.
Yeah. One other guy.
Rodney Buford.
No. One other guy that left from the Sixers. Was it
one other guy that went to
that left from the Sixers and went to?
Give me a hint. Give me a hint. Was he a guard?
Was on the Bulls before the Sixers.
Was on the Bulls before the Sixers. Hey, you got me. Who is it?
White guy.
A white guy from the ball. Oh, Tony.
Tony
Kukoc.
Kukoc.
Yeah, Tony Kukoc won that deal.
Yeah,
That's right.
and then the last one, this was the hard one that everybody kind of forgets, was Rashawn McLeod.
Rashawn McLeod. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. All right, that's fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Coco Gauff
Yeah.
had her problems in the tennis tournament where she destroyed many rackets. And she went into the corridor to destroy them, where she thought she was safe, that nobody would see her.
Yeah.
But they did see it. And she complained about her lack of privacy in doing what she tried to do to destroy rackets. Is that too pervasive to follow her into the corridor where she's destroying rackets?
I'm of the mindset that, yes, that pro athletes need a safe space to blow off steam. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. It's not out on the court. It's not out in public. Or, it's okay if you have the camera there, but somebody needs to be discerning. It'd be different if she hit somebody else with the racket. Then, yes, that should be public video.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, we're so conditioned. The telecast includes everything these days. So if there's a camera that's going to catch that, I think that's really interesting to people to see. I may be harsh about that, but it is interesting. These are professional athletes. I think that's a talking point. When people see that, they go, "Did you see what Coco Gauff did?" I mean, that's water cooler talk, right?
Sure it is. But I think that we sometimes forget that they're human, right? And that they're playing on emotion, and that there could be something like that. Like, I look at something like that and go, do we really need to see Coco Gauff have a meltdown in private in a tunnel underneath the stadium where she slams her racket on the ground? I don't know if we need to see that. We know she's disappointed. Okay. Like if she threw the racket at somebody or hit somebody with okay, you want to put that out there because that's badly reacting to something, fine. I think she's right to complain in this.
I got you. Okay, we disagree on that one. Phillies announcing Truck Day on February 3rd. That's the day where they load up all the trucks and move out to spring training, right?
Yeah, I don't get it, Mike.
You don't get it?
I don't get Truck Day. Well, of course, everything has to be loaded on a truck and driven to spring
all they're
training.
doing is calling the local news outlets and say, "Hey, we're loading our stuff." That's Truck Day.
Yeah, but we all give in to this and cover it like, oh, Truck Day.
Well, because baseball is spring reigns eternal. It's like we can't wait for spring. We can't wait for baseball.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks because you say, okay, it's Truck Day. It's February 3rd. But nothing really happens until February 11th. So don't tease me. Just let me know when it's February 11th. All right, great. Pitcher to catcher.
You're not down with Truck Day. How about the Washington Post practically shutting down their entire sports department?
What is happening?
One of the great sports staffs ever, and now we got nothing.
What is happening there, Mike? It's
newspaper
crazy. Business,
brother. It's rough.
They're owned by Jeff Bezos. He's got bazillion dollars. I mean, it's crazy to me. What's even crazier is they had already invested, I think it was $80,000 in flights and hotel accommodations for their staff to be at the Olympics, which start in 2 weeks. And they pulled the plug on that last minute. And they're not going to get any of that money back, right? Yeah. So why are you pulling the plug on the coverage? Like, it's $80,000. You already spent the money. Like, why are you pulling the plug on that doesn't make sense. Now they're not traveling. They're not sending a beat writer for the Washington Nationals to spring training. So no coverage of the Nationals in spring training. Like, and there's some real internal conversations. There's going to be major layoffs at the paper, not just in sports, but throughout the entire operation. And that there's a thought that maybe the sports department goes away entirely. And that's I don't get it.
Terrible news. We had to throw it out there on part of our list here on quick hitters. Last couple, 30-30 Philly special is going to be.
Yeah,
30-30 on the Philly special. February 6th, ESPN's doing. How you do a whole thing on the Philly special?
I know a 30 for 30 is usually longer, right? That's not one of those E60 like shorter ones, right?
It's longer.
30 for 30 is a longer one. I don't know how you do it on the one play in and of itself, unless there's some kind of I don't know, backstory to the creation of it. And, they have some footage of them practicing it or who knows what they've acquired. But it's going to be interesting.
There's going to be a lot of interviews on this.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see
Full-time.
how they turn an entire episode
Wow.
show into that.
All right, finally, the Royal Rumble is happening this weekend in Saudi Arabia. Are you in?
I haven't watched a WWE event, Mike. I can't tell you how long. It's been a long time. I used to watch it all the time. When my oldest son was a kid, we used to watch. I used to take him to down to watch it in person. He loved it. We all loved it. And then I grew up. I stopped watching.
Anyway, I'm picking Brock Lesnar. If he's participating, I'll take Brock Lesnar to win.
You're in. I know that. I do know that John Cena retired. I knew that happened.
He did. He got choked out in his last match.
Yeah, and we when we were out in LA for the playoffs in October, we were doing a live hit after, I think it was after game 3 in LA, and we're standing there in Dodger Stadium, and we're like in the crowd, or there's no crowd, but we were in the seats, and we're about 5 rows from the concourse, and there's nobody left in the building, and all of a sudden this guy walks by with a woman and 2 young kids, and as I'm sitting there talking to Tim Kelly, I look up and I go, it's John Cena. It was John Cena. John Cena was at the Dodgers game and just happened to walk by. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I stopped.
Celebrities, celebrities all over the place there.
Yeah. So it was
that
was interesting.
I'm taking Lesnar. By the way, he's the biggest human I've ever seen. I was in the radio booth with him, and it's incredible.
Really?
Yeah, I was also there with Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Came into the studio when I was doing WMMR way back in the day.
Wow.
All right, I think that'll cover about everything that we can talk about today. Ann, how you feeling about that? We miss anything?
We don't think we missed anything, Mike, except where are you next week?
Next week, by the way, live remote from the old Temperance House in Newtown. I'll be there with Bob Cooney.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
5 to 6. 5 to 6 live podcast.
The only reason Bob's jumping in for me is because there's a Flyers game that night, so obviously I can't be in 2 places at once. So.
There you go. All right. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. You can get us a podcast if you missed something. Just get it on all podcast networks, and that'll do it for us today. Everybody have a great rest of the day. If you have to dig out your driveway like Anthony, don't hurt your back. All right. Take care, everybody.